What do we know? 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 I'll tell you what they're all saying. What do we know?
Hi, Philip.
Okay. That ball is driving me crazy. It's like the 15th time it's hit me.
Why is someone throwing a ball at you?
I don't know.
Well, who's throwing it?
I don't know.
Well, are you going to try and stop them?
Probably not. It seems like a lot of work, and it's just kind of always been like this, so I don't think there's really anything I can do.
There's always been someone throwing a ball at you?
Yeah, I guess.
Hmm.
Do you think maybe you could, like, stand over here and block it for a while? I really need to read this book for class.
Yeah, I guess. But I think we need to have a little talk. Do you know the difference between justice and charity, Philip?
Justice and charity. They're the same thing. They're both kind of like churchy stuff.
Indeed, they are both churchy, but they're not the same thing.
No way.
Charity deals with solving an immediate need and is not meant to solve the long-term problem.
What's justice, then?
Justice is meant to solve the long form of a problem and deal with the root causes and issues.
Well, so then what does this have to do with me?
You're being repeatedly hit by a mystery ball,
Yeah.
and you're asking me to stand in front of you to solve the problem.
Yeah, if you could. Maybe move a little bit more this way.
All right, but I can't stand here forever. I think that we need to talk about this a little more in depth. Follow me! We're here at Pearl Pantries. A food pantry is a charity because it solves an immediate need. Hungry people come in and have their need met because they're given food.
That's awesome.
There are many other kinds of charities as well. Homeless shelters, soup kitchens, and mitten trees are all examples of charities which solve immediate needs.
Charities are way cooler than justice.
I don't know about that, Philip.
I need to come up with a new plan on how to not get hit by this ball.
Okay, well you think about it and meet me at this address later and we'll talk a little bit more about justice, okay?
Alright.
What are you doing?
I'm incognito, so then this way the person who's throwing the ball won't recognize me.
Okay then.
Where are we?
We're at Voices for Children.
Voices for Children is an advocacy group that motivates and educates Nebraskans to care for children who are vulnerable.
That doesn't sound like a charity.
You're right, this is justice. Voices for Children does justice work because they do not directly serve children, but they do advocate for them. It is their hopes that they will be able to change the systemic injustice that cause all of these problems.
Systemic. Yeah, I know exactly what that means.
Systemic refers to a system. Oftentimes in a system, there are advantages and disadvantages built in. Some people then have an unfair advantage and some have an unfair disadvantage. For example, poor children oftentimes have a hard time affording glasses. This makes them do poorly in school, not because they're not as talented as the other children, but because they can't see and can't afford to have the problem fixed.
So what does Voices for Children do to stop the systemic injustice?
Voices for Children does a lot of advocacy work. They also do community organizing and try and break negative stereotypes. They'll also work on the state, local, and federal level to try and lobby politicians to get changes in our political system.
Yeah, that sounds pretty...
Complicated?
Well, I was going to say boring.
Justice can be difficult. It's a lot of hard work, and day to day it's probably not as exciting as doing charity work. Charity also gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling of doing something good for everyone. But justice work is needed to change society. The goal of justice is to make it so that charity work isn't needed as often or as much.
So what other places do justice?
Nebraska Appleseed, Bread for the World, Justice for Our Neighbors, and Nebraskans for Peace are all examples of advocacy groups.
That's a lot of places.
That's right, and they're all advocating for various aspects of justice.
Well, this afternoon's been simply delightful, but I still don't know what this has to do with me.
Well, you have a problem.
What problem? Oh, yeah.
Someone is hitting you with a ball. So you've tried all sorts of things to fix this problem. You've tried hiding, you've tried wearing a costume, you've tried using me as a shield.
I made a list of other things I could do. How about digging a hole?
I don't think that's gonna work.
Hiring a bodyguard.
No.
I also had attack dogs.
No. Philip, you need to think deeper. Think of what's going to solve the root cause of this problem. What do you have to do to solve the problem?
Find out who's throwing the ball at me? Hey, why have you been throwing a ball at me?
It just seemed like fun.
Could you stop?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
See, that was easy. You found and solved the root cause of the problem, and now no one's throwing a ball at you.
That makes me so happy. I get it now. It's like charity and justice. Charity is an immediate solution to a need, and then justice is more like a long-term solution to a problem. But I still don't really understand which one's better.
Neither one is better. They're just different. If we look to the Bible, we can see Jesus demonstrating both aspects of justice and charity. In Matthew 21:12-13, we see him doing justice. He overturns the tables in the temple because they're an unjust system. But if we look in the verse right next to it, Jesus is healing the blind and the lame. This is charity. And that's why charity and justice are known as the 2 feet of Christian service.
Feet?
Pretend that charity is your left leg and justice is your right leg.
Uh-huh.
Try and get across the room just using charity. Now just use justice.
That is highly ineffective.
Exactly. Now this time, use charity and justice to get across the room.
Yeah, like this.
Perfect.
Ooh, this is so much better.
That's right. You need both charity and justice to be a good Christian. There are a lot of ways that you can get involved with charity and justice. Look for opportunities in your local church or school. You can also go online to the Nebraska United Methodist website and look up risk-taking missions and justice. Thanks for watching.